Hey guys, what's up? This is Shekhar Suman here from Biotechnica, and today we are going to discuss 10 pointers which will help you find your next biotech job faster and easily. And that is where I'm going to discuss the basics of your job hunt into the biotech and pharma industry. Today I'm going to give you 10 pointers, and for that, let's get started. Alright, the first things first. If you are still studying, whether it is in your first year, second year, third year, whatever year of your degree, you have to remember that you have to start preparing for your job hunt right when you are in your first year or second year, whatever year you are into, okay? Having said that, you have to utilize your weekends, you have to utilize your semester breaks, you have to utilize your any free time for the following things: internship, certification courses, hands-on training, publishing papers, researching and studying research articles and research journals, and at the same time also keeping yourself updated with the latest whatever is happening in our industry. And you know how to get that? You have to subscribe to Biotechnica to get all of that. The link is given in the description. Alright, so let's get started with the 10 pointers which I promised to give you. The first one which you have to realize is having a degree in biotech sector or biosciences sector is not enough. Now, it's a depressing thought to start with, right? Don't worry, I'm going to give you a solution for that. Now, many a times, we think that, okay, my daddy has spent so much money on my education, so okay, now I'm ready, I should get a job. But that's a wrong notion, my dear friend. The industry doesn't see you that way, okay? You must have practical knowledge and skills. Now you'll say, I did practical in my lab. Even that was on the top of outdated syllabus. University syllabus doesn't change so often, but the industry moves forward very, very fast. Right. For example, you might have studied NGS, but today the industry has moved 2 steps or 4 steps ahead. So what I'm trying to tell you here is all these things which I told you just now: internship, hands-on trainings, online certification, offline certifications, publishing papers, research journals, all such things, all these activities, whether you are still studying or whether you have passed, is important for you, because that helps you get job ready. Okay, you have to get ahead. Okay, so your only degree is not enough, and don't blame your college for that. It is not their fault. It is just that the industry is moving faster than the syllabus of the universities can cope up. Okay, so that's my first pointer. Moving on to the second pointer. The second pointer is following a crowd is equal to you will always be a part of the crowd. Now, what do I mean by that? You see, as soon as we pass out of degree, we look around. Okay, my that friend, he's doing that. My that friend, he's doing that. Instead of reaching out to the mentors and gurus and the successful people in the industry and asking them what should be done next, we try to copy what others are doing. In fact, I know many students who will copy the resume of their classmate also, right? So remember, you are not a carbon copy of your classmate. You are not a carbon copy of your senior or a junior. You are unique. So build your own USP. Don't try to be a part of the crowd. Stand out of the crowd. Now, one of the easiest way to do that is start with online certification courses, which Biotechnica provides. Very small amount you have to invest, and that helps you grow faster while you're still studying, or on your weekends also you can study. Now, the second pointer which you can do to stand out of the crowd is publish papers while you can. If you're not doing any kind of research, you can always be active on social media and especially LinkedIn, and build your personal brand. Don't be a part of the crowd. Get your resume designed. If you cannot design yourself, highlight keywords in your CV which is your expertise. Do hands-on training, do certifications, and do internships. Okay. Now, while you are doing all this, always look at, okay, interdisciplinary things I should be. For example, you are a zoologist or a cell biologist. How can technology, say artificial intelligence or bioinformatics or other things, can overlap here so that I can build a stronger CV. So always look at interdisciplinary fields, not just your field, because interdisciplinary field not just helps you stand out of the crowd, but it is much more scopic than your current field. So that's my point number 2. Stand out of the crowd, don't be a part of the crowd. Moving on to point number 3. All right, so point number 3 is set high goals and reverse engineer it. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, I personally coach many students, job seekers on Biotecnika app, and I call it as KYC series. And there I show them where exactly they can get to. So one of the methodologies which we adopted there, and I always recommend also otherwise, is you have to think how successful people think. You have to do things what successful people did. So it's very easy. Go to LinkedIn, look out for, okay, you want to become a CRISPR scientist, look out for a successful CRISPR scientist who is working in some lab, okay, some senior guy. Now go and check what kind of education he did, what all places he went, what kind of activities he did. And now that you know all the things which all these guys have done, and don't just study one person, study 10 people of that kind of genre or domain, and then reverse engineer it. Okay, success is a result of efforts which are not just unique but also different, and the footsteps which successful people followed will definitely be different than others, right? So when you reverse engineer their footsteps, you have a short chance of getting there, right? On the top of it, you also get a lot of motivation, you also get a lot of insight, and you also get that courage and confidence that whatever I'm doing is a result of all the research which I have done on all these successful people, all these successful scientists, right? So I'm going in the right way. So no other person can actually really misguide you, right? So that's the point here. That's my third point. Moving on to the fourth point. All right, so the fourth point, which is be flexible about job location, but be very, very particular about job description. Now, having said that, the word application scientist is misused many a times, right? So what if the name is application scientist but the job is of sales, or if the name is senior scientist but the job is of the job description is not commensurate with the job title, right? So you have to always look at what is the job description, okay? And using your third point, which is reverse engineering the successful people, you have to match. Did those people do these kind of jobs? Okay, yes. If they did, all right, I'll do it. But don't go by the job title. The job title can be the vice president of the company, but the work may be different, right? So job description is very, very important, because your job description is what makes you. Your job description is what you learn on the job, and that it will be your future qualification, right? So job description, you have to be very particular. The second point, be very flexible with the job location. Now, imagine you are getting a very good job, but it is not in your city. Your city is Kolkata, and you are getting a job in Himachal Pradesh or maybe Bangalore. Don't be hesitant to move out, okay? See, biotech companies work in clusters because they get special incentives to work in different states, right? Himachal Pradesh is one, Hyderabad is one, Bangalore is one, Gujarat is one, right? So these are some states which give incentives. So these biotech companies are concentrated in these locations, right? So if you are in these locations, your chances of getting a job is faster. Plus, if you say, no, I want a job in Kolkata itself, or I want a job in Madhya Pradesh itself, difficult, because these companies are not there, right? And of course, biotech jobs cannot be work from home. So that is where the problem is, right? So you have to be flexible with your job location, but be very, very particular about job description. All right, so that was my fourth point. Now coming to the fifth point. The fifth point is highlight the right keywords in your CV. Now you have to know this, that across the globe, across the world, all the biotech companies, in fact all the companies, employ artificial intelligence to get past this hurdle of getting so many job applications and selecting the best one. So what they do is the artificial intelligence picks the keywords. For example, the recruiter is looking for a person who knows HPLC. So it will just type the keyword HPLC and it will show all the CVs which have mentioned HPLC. Now a CV which has got more relevance will rank higher. It's not that you have to mention HPLC more times. it will automatically rank higher if the artificial intelligence thinks that it has got more related keywords to the root keyword, right? So basically you have to understand this fact, and accordingly first do a lot of hands-on training, publish a lot of papers related to that training, and if you cannot do that, at least do the online certifications and highlight even those in your CVs. So when you write those keywords, okay, make it bold, make it stand out, so that it will be easier for the recruiter to just have a look at your CV and find out, okay, this guy is about this. For example, just today I was taking an interview. So before the interview, I was scanning the CV and I realized, okay, cheminformatics is the root word. This guy is all about cheminformatics, right? So yes, we can go for it. So this is how exactly people think when they are recruiting, right? So they get thousands of people, applications, thousands of people who will apply through Biotecnika or other job portals. Very, very difficult to find out. So they employ artificial intelligence. So if the right keyword is highlighted in your CV, the chances of you getting selected is easier, right? And always make sure that you design your CV in such a way that the words are not images. It should be searchable by a software. Okay, so that's my point number 5. Moving ahead to the point number 6. All right, so point number 6 here is building your LinkedIn networking strategy and winning recommendations. Now, you must have seen how we work at Biotecnika. So we first do a great job, we do an awesome job, and then we tell our people, hey, did you like it? If yes, please put down a thumbs up below the video, or we'll ask you to rate our app if you liked our app, right? So this is how we do. First do a good job and ask for recommendation. So the same thing, be active on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, please update your photo so that it is professional. It should not be you partying somewhere and you clicked and you uploaded. Don't do that. Have a professional photographer do it, or somebody could do it, so that the face comes out very nicely professionally, and then put it up there. And after that, make sure all your recent activities are updated, your educational qualification, your training, your experience, your paper publications, your PPTs, your any kind of activity, it should be there, right? Now that also means that you have to, wherever you're working, like you're working in a lab or you're working elsewhere, please ask your HOD, or please build a very nice relationship with them and ask them, could you please write a recommendation for my LinkedIn? Because these recommendations will be there for the next, as long as you are in this world, right? And as long as LinkedIn is there. So it's a great way of doing things, right? So do a great job somewhere, ask that person to write a recommendation for you. Even if you are a fresher, you can always ask your teacher, or you can ask your HOD. They will definitely help you, right? So that's very, very important. Another point is, don't ask your colleague who is junior or who is at par with you to write recommendations. People do that. They'll just ask their colleague, hey, you are my classmate, can you write my review? Don't do that. Because the person who is going to read your recommendations are also going to see who is writing it, right? So if you have a recommendation from a heavyweight champion, definitely you will win the job, right? So that's my 6-pointer, LinkedIn strategy and recommendations. Moving ahead to the point number 7. All right, so the point number 7, very, very important point, is the KYC series. Now, I told you earlier in this video, KYC series is a unique thing. It is something which has never been taught and will never be done ever after. It is running right now on Biotecnika app, and it is done tentatively every week. Sometimes if I don't get time, I miss out, but yes, most of the time we do it. In KYC, we pick one company. So it's called as Know Your Biotech Company series. We pick one company, we do the full postmortem. We go in and check out entire thing, what exactly is happening in this company, right from the mission, vision, founders, and what kind of jobs are posted, what kind of job profiles are there, what kind of skills are required, technical skill, interpersonal skill, and then what exactly was the recent job openings in these companies. So all these things we conduct, and it lasts for around 1 hour 30 minutes. That's the duration, right? Even the recordings are there. So the previous KYCs also, you can go and check it out. Okay, so suppose you want a job in Dr. Reddy's, so you can go and check Dr. Reddy's KYC. It'll help you, right? So basically this is where it helps you. Now, these KYC series are custom made, custom tailored for you, right? Now, this information is not available in the public domain. It is not easily available anywhere. Nobody knows it. Nobody tells you, because it is an outcome. It is a result of research done by Biotecnika experts over a period of 15 years, right? So all that we are putting in these KYC series. So please go and watch it out. It is in Biotecnika app in the webinar section. Moving ahead to point number 8. So the point number 8 is very, very important for all of you, which is clean up your social media accounts. Okay. Now, just imagine you have a political point of view, which is not bad. Or you were partying somewhere and you snapped it and you have posted on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. It's not a problem, but the HRs of today always dig in and try to check what's actually happening. Okay, if they find out there is a problem, then they will say, okay, this guy seems to be politically active, or this guy seems to be sensitive. So they always check your social media, right? Even though they will deny, they will check it. They will definitely try to find you out. And if they find you out in a wrong way, then you're going to lose out on the job. Because whenever they look out for people, they always look out for highly, not just qualified, highly ethical, highly honest people who match their core values, right? So one of the core values is honesty, or one of the core values is being ethical, right? So these are the things which you should know. So when you go ahead to your social media, please go and check it out. Did you post anything abusive, offensive, anything politically sensitive, anything which criticizes someone unnecessarily or necessarily? See, you are going to be a part of a company which really doesn't want to be, or doesn't want to get involved in any kind of controversy, right? Most of the companies don't want, right? Unless they are a press or a media company, right? So that is where they don't want to hire people who would create controversy or who would create union formation within the company. They just want workers. They want people who would work with them for long term, with honesty, with integrity, with ethics, right? And if you want to do that, so please go ahead and check it out. Check out your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, and if you have done any such thing, please go ahead and clean that up. So that's my point number 8. Moving ahead to point number 9. So point number 9 is delayed gratification leads to better fruits of success. Now, delay your gratification and pay more attention to learning. Now, many people, as soon as they pass out from their MSc or BSc, they want to jump onto the jobs bandwagon, right? Or earning treadmill, right? I always call it a treadmill because here you are running to capture the degree, there you are running to capture the salary, right? So in both the cases, the struggle is going to be same. But if you delay your gratification and you learn more, earn more qualification, more skill sets, which is relevant to your field, that is where your chances of success is higher and your payouts will be higher, your designation will be higher, okay? Having said that, I don't mean to say that you keep studying and postdoc and then another postdoc. I don't mean to say that. Get absorbed into the industry as soon as you can, but look at the payout and the growth. If you feel that, okay, if I do a PhD and that helps me grow, do it. Okay, if you feel that MSc is enough and I should get into a job, do it. But after 1 year, if you realize that, okay, I should do a PhD, it will be 1 year late, right? So it is always better to delay your gratification, finish up your next degree, whichever you plan to do, and then go ahead and take up that job. Many people will not agree with me on this. It's all right. It's your choice. Do it. Do the job. But after that, once you get used to the salary per month, it will be very difficult to leave that and continue your education, okay? And that leads to a bigger problem, which will be you stop growing, suppose, in your job. Then you will be unsatisfied, but your salary doesn't allow you to leave that job, right? So that's where it becomes a catch-22 situation. I don't want you to fall into that. So my suggestion is delay your gratification for a job and learn as much as you can. Learn skill set, publish papers, become a scientist, but not just a scientist, a senior scientist, okay? And for that, if you want to, please do finish up your PhD. That'll be a great addition on your CV. Moving ahead to the next point, which is point number 10. So the point number 10 is salary negotiation skills. Very important. Of course, everybody wants salary, right? So whenever you are in an interview and you are negotiating for salary, remember that you should not sound like a snob. You should not sound like a politician demanding something, right? That's you're sitting on a dharna. You have to ask in a polite way and always remember that the HR always has a budget at the back of his mind. He is not going to offer you double his budget or 1 penny extra out of his budget also. He may go and recommend the top interview team, but definitely they will not go beyond their budget, right? So what you have to do is you have to use the right words. Remember, words transition into money here. So your interview process and your salary negotiation skills must be very much measured and calculated. Okay, whatever you say must be calculated. So one ideal answer, which if somebody asks me, I will say is, to me, job satisfaction is the most important thing. When it comes to money, I always believe that whatever is my expenditure must be met, and for that I believe that my current expenditure is this, and you can mention the amount. So anything plus or minus would help me. 10% plus or minus will help me. However, the most important thing is job satisfaction. The most important thing is making sure that I'm able to add value to the organization and I'm able to do the right job in the given conditions which you are ready to provide. So this is one of the ideal answers. You can obviously, break it down and change according to you. But my pointer here is, if you start saying that, hey, I want this much lakhs salary. See, that guy, that HR who has asked that question, has already got a budget and he's already interviewed people like you. All he wants to match is who all are matching his budget, and he'll create a spreadsheet, give it to his senior, and that senior takes a decision, right? So if you're not in that range, you're out. You're very publicly out. So there's no point in being a snob and asking too much. Instead, focus on getting the job first and then growing with the job, right? So this is my 10th point. Now I'm going to give you one bonus point, which is my 11th point for today. Now, first of all, thank you so much for watching this video till the 10th point. So the 11th point for all of you is searching the job on the right platform matters. Now, what do I mean by that? You see, job hunt for you is very important. So is for your family. If you get the right job, they would be very happy for you, right? But for these job portals which are there in the market, you are just another CV, right? You're not just another person, you're just another CV. So they treat you as, okay, they're just a pile of CV. So what really happens is, the moment anybody posts a job, in fact, you should know this, that any job portal, anybody can post a job, right? By paying 1,500 rupees or 1,900 rupees, anybody in this world can post a job on these job portals. They are so job hungry, they are so money hungry, right? So what happens is, some frauds will also post jobs. Some people who are unethical will also post jobs, and that is where you end up applying for these jobs by mistake. Or maybe the job portal will forward your CV to them, and then they will contact you. You think you are getting a good job, but maybe it is not. So it's very, very important to know which job portals to pick. Okay. One of the best ones which I know and we have ourselves built is Biotecnika. Now, I'm not praising ourselves, I'm just telling you our methodology. We handpick our jobs according to the subscribers of Biotecnika. Tom, Dick and Harry can come and say, okay, I want to post a job on Biotecnika, and we'll take it and okay, post it. No, it doesn't happen that way. We verify, we check their credentials. If it is a company which has never existed till yesterday, we don't take them. Okay, we will do a thorough KYC of that company, the individual who is posting a job on Biotecnika, and we always see if that job matches our subscribers or not. If it doesn't match, we discard it. Okay, and that is the secret of our success in the biosciences industry. We handpick jobs for our people, which nobody does. Other job portals, there are many of them. Yes, they also have some quality checks, but yes, anybody can post jobs there, so you have to be careful there. Another point which I would suggest to you is going to company websites and checking out their individual openings. That's also a very good idea, and if you don't want to do that, subscribe to Biotecnika and our team will send you hand-picked jobs according to your choice. And if you're not getting a job according to your choice, you have always got a chance to interact with us, tell us what kind of jobs you're looking for, and we will help you out. So these were the 11 pointers which will help you get ahead in your job hunt. These are the basics of job hunt. These are not something which is beyond common sense also, but I really wanted to highlight these for you because I believe at this juncture, when you are trying for a job, you should not look for small jobs. You should not look for small things in life. You should achieve grand things, because that's our goal, because that's what we want to achieve for you, and that's why I made this video. Thank you so much for watching this video.